Okay, so tonight we are talking about Chodesh Elul. Chodesh Tov, everybody. Okay, we're very excited. And we're going to be examining the month of Elul from many, many different perspectives. And you know, to summarize, it's like we basically know what Elul is all about. Elul is about introspection. It's a time of making changes in our life. Okay, for that you didn't even come here to hear that. No, that's like pretty generic. I once heard Rav Lau said that when he became rabbi, I think he was first rabbi in Tel Aviv, and so his father-in-law gave him some pieces of advice for like to be a rabbi. When you give speeches, you have to know how to give a good speech. So he told him that, let's say for example that they call on you that you're supposed to be giving a speech on Shabbos. For night, you're supposed to talk about how important Shabbos is. So you give his example was that they call it it's going to be 9:30 at night. That's in the winter Shabbos. So 9:30 at night, everybody comes to show, and you're supposed to speak, and you're the guest speaker, and you're supposed to speak about Shabbos. And so when the person comes back from your speech, and his wife asks him, "What did the rabbi speak about?" So if the guy says he spoke about Shabbos, how important Shabbos was. If that's what he says, then you failed. Meaning that make sure that you always have a message. Make sure that you always have something very specific that the people are going to come out with. So Elul is all about change, it's all about becoming better, but I would hope that there's something more specific that we can figure out about the nature of the month of Elul. And so the way we're going to do that is by analyzing really the very basics, the very foundation of the month of Elul, by going to the Sefer Yetzirah, as we always do, which is going to give us a letter which is connected to the month, which is going to give us a sense which is connected to the month, which is going to give us a tribe, which is going to give us a constellation, and then it happens to be that with Elul specifically, so there's many other ideas. Like Elul is a very, very largely talked about month. Like as everybody knows, Anila Dodi V'Dodi and things like that. So there are many perspectives. On Elul. Now, another thing that we have to put on the table is that there's different schools of thought. When it comes to Elul, like what's the first thing that comes to mind? Now, there's a famous story that Rabbi Salanter would tell that when Shabbos Mevarchim Chodesh Elul last Shabbos, so they announced that the month of Elul is coming. So Rabbi Salanter would tell that in his community, so every Shabbos Rosh Chodesh, Shabbos Mevarchim Elul, so they would prepare barrels of water, because it was a regular thing that when the Chazan would say that Rosh Chodesh Elul, so they would hear women fainting. People would faint out of terror, out of fright that, oh no, Elul is coming, and they would literally faint from fear of Elul. And so and he seems to be saying this like as a nice thing, like whoa, that's so holy. And so that's one approach. And whoever that was the approach that they were taught when they were kids, say I. So yeah, that was not what you were taught.
Maybe a little bit.
A little bit. That's and like there's, I think many of us were taught that the proper way to experience Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur is with fear, is with trepidation, is with anxiety, and so that's one approach. And then on the other side of the spectrum, we have the Hasidic approach, and that's also become Baruch Hashem very very popular in recent years, and that is that the Torah of the Baal HaTanya, that the Lubavitch Rebbe was very fond of saying over the Torah from the first Lubavitch Rebbe, and that is that what's unique in the month of Elul is that Hamelech Basadeh, that the king is in the field, that there is a certain availability in the month of Elul, that Hashem is really he's really close. He's really, really close, and there shouldn't be anxiety and there's something beautiful. That's an opportunity to come close, and this is really like this has always been part of the tradition, because this is exactly what it means. That I am to my beloved and my beloved is to me. What does that mean? It means that Hashem is close, and it's a nice thing. It's a time of rachamim. We call it rachamim v'slichos. Now, like Sfardim, so they already say slichos, right? Starting tomorrow, and so like slichos has a connotation of no, I'm sorry, like more stress, more anxiety. But on the other hand, so Sfardim, so their slichos are fun. Right? Like they okay, so I think everybody agrees that Elul is not supposed to be a stressful time. Elul is supposed to be a time of closeness. It's supposed to be a time of love. It's supposed to be a time of feeling Hashem's presence, and at the same time, you're being judged. At the same time, so the thing about Elul is that it's really it is an opportunity. Now, like it's that if you had the opportunity to speak to somebody who can help you, who can guide you, it's a way of taking accounting of your life to get yourself in shape. So that people pay a lot of money, like somebody told me that like to speak to Tony Robbins for an hour costs like $100,000, something like that.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so like people pay a lot of money to get guidance, even though, like, I promise you, he's not going to say, "Oh, you're so sweet." That's good going. You didn't pay $100,000 to hear somebody say good going. Like, you pay $100,000 because you want him to tell you what you're doing wrong, right? Mm-hmm. So there's a blessing. There's a blessing in the fact that we have this, that they have this opportunity to make changes, and really that the purpose of this end, the purpose of having this day of reckoning in a good way, is that Hashem wants us to be living lives of growth. And the only way to have a growth-oriented life is that we should have this month of the year that's about growing. It's about figuring out where we are, where we're standing, what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong, how we can improve. And that's such a blessing that we have this thing built into our system, that we're forced, in a sense, we're urged and guided to grow. Okay, so that's the basic thing. That's the basic thing. This is also hinted to in the very meaning of the word Elul, because the word Elul. So it's the names of the months are from Aramaic. They're not Lashon HaKodesh, and so right, in the Torah, the names of the months are just called month number 1, month number 2, etc. And only after the first exile, when they came back from Babylonia, only then did they start talking about the names of the months, because they're actually from the Akkadian calendar, which is similar to Aramaic. So what does Elul mean in Aramaic? So someone noticed that it says in Parshat Shlach by the Meraglim, by the spies. So it says V'yaturu et Eretz Canaan. So the Targum Onkelos, the Aramaic translation of the Torah, says V'ya'alalun yat'ara. That so it uses the word Elul as a connotation of searching out. Okay, so part of the meaning of the word Elul is about searching out. Okay, that's really what the word means. So it's really the very essence of this month is about self-searching, about contemplation, about figuring ourselves out for the purpose of growth. And so,
what does it stand for? I missed it.
Not necessarily. It's simply the word. What the word means. It's simply the in le'alel in Aramaic means to search. Okay, so we're searching. We're searching ourselves. We're doing an accounting. We're doing a search, and that's really what the very basic meaning of this month is. But I would like to try to figure out a more in-depth, a more precise message that the month is all about. In order that we should have like a more clear vision of how we would like this month to be. Okay, so first of all, we said that every month has a letter which is connected to it, and so the letter which is connected to the month of Elul is the letter Yud. Letter Yud. Okay, so what is the letter Yud? What is the letter Yud all about? So there's a lot of sources that explain that Yud is connected to thought. Yud is connected to thought. Now, why is that? So first of all, in Hebrew, so if I add a Yud in front of something, so what does that do? It changes it to future tense, right? Achal means he ate. Yochal means he will eat, right? Halach is he walked. Yelech means he will, right? Everything that you put a Yud before, it means that he will. It makes a future tense. So if he will, what am I saying when I'm saying that he will do something? What I'm saying is that there exists a plan for him to do this. So the letter Yud in front of a word really has the connotation of that there is a thought of it happening. Right? Very simple. Okay. So this is also mentioned in Rashi. The Rashi says in Az Yashir that we say that the Torah says in Az Yashir that Az Yashir Mashav Neisad at Hashira Azot that this is what the song that they sang after the splitting of the sea. So Rashi notes that it really should have said as Sharu Mashav Neisad. It should have said past tense, that this is what they did sing. So why does it say as Yashir? So Rashi says the Yud Hashem HaMachshava, that it mentions the Yud because the Torah is describing, for whatever reason, this is a different discussion, but the Torah is describing the feeling that they had when they were thinking about, when they were contemplating this with the song, when these beautiful words just came into their head, that it was an even greater experience than when they actually said it. So that's the Yud Hashem HaMachshava. Now, we also see this in Kabbalistic sources, that Yud is connected to thought, because in the name of God, Yud Kei Vav Kei, so they explain that the Yud represents thought, and the Vav represents the Midot. The Midot. In Kabbalah, there's 6 Sefirot, which are representing the Midot, the different emotions, so to speak, the behavior traits of Hashem. And before the 6 behavior traits, we have the Yud, which represents the thought of Hashem. Okay, so meaning that the Sefirot are divided into Sechel and Midot. Okay, thought and behavior. Okay, intellectual, emotional. Okay, so the beginning, the Yud represents the thought. Yeah, in fact, the Yud specifically represents the Chokhmah, and it says that in the corner of the Yud there's the Kutzash Yud, which means that the source of the thought comes from something even deeper. But in the name Yud Kei Vav Kei, in the name of Hashem, so the Kabbalists explain that the Yud represents the thought. It means the intellectual process of God. Okay, so we see that Yud represents thought. Okay, wow. So we see that. So that's what it means. That's what it means that the Yud represents Machshava. So if that's what Elul is all about, if Elul is all about Machshava, so it means that the purpose of this month is to be making plans. Okay, we're supposed to be thinking. This is not a month to just be spacing out. We should be thinking. Okay. Now the problem is that there seems to be a contradiction to this in the next point that the Sefer Yetzirah tells us about the month of Elul, and that is that it connects when we talk about the senses which are connected to different months. So it's a very interesting thing just in and of itself that when it talks about the sense of the month of Elul, it calls it ma'aseh, okay, which literally means doing. So the problem is the doing is not a sense, right? Like we've had in the past months, like Av was about Shmiya, about hearing. Before that, we had Tammuz, which was about seeing. Sight. Those are senses. Those are senses and senses of the 5 senses. And doing is not a sense, right? Now, it's true that in the Sefer Yetzirah, it talks about 12 different senses, so it's not really senses in the sense of the 5 senses, but it's things that the soul does. It's things that the soul does. Like, for example, like laughing. Adar is about laughing. One of them is about eating. It's talking about, one of them is sleeping. It's my favorite. That Kislev is about sleeping, and so it's all things about the soul. It's all energies of the soul. Kochot hanefesh. Okay, so that being said, if the Sefer Yetzirah says we're talking about ma'aseh, we're not talking about doing. By definition, the things that the Sefer Yetzirah are talking about are not things to do, but they're energies of the soul. Okay, so what does that mean? That there's a tchuna, that there's a certain attribute of the soul of Maisa, which means being practical. Okay, which means that a person could be practical. A person, it's a way of living. It's not about what you do. It's about how you think. It's about what you're made of. Are you a practical person? Are you a person that is tachlis? You know the word tachlis? It's a very important word. Tachlis means a person who's bottom line, who's grounded, that things have a purpose. They don't do things just to spend time. They don't do things just because like they had nothing better to do. A person who's tachlis, okay, why are we talking about this? I've spoken to lots of people that just okay, I'm not understanding what your question is. And so Maisa as a tchuna of the nefesh, Maisa as a characteristic of the soul is to perfect this part of ourselves which is about being tachlis, about being a practical person. Okay, and so that being said, it very goes hand in hand with machshava, because in fact it's telling us the kind of machshava that the yud is really referring to, because there's a famous idea that it says, we say this in the Chadodi, that sof ma'aseh b'machshava tchila, that the bottom line, the last thing that you do, meaning the finished goal, is b'machshava tchila, is the first thing you think about. Meaning that at the beginning, before you start doing anything, you have to have a vision. Right? We pay a lot of money to architects. So before you hire a builder, so you need to have a very good architect. And even if you have the best builder, Jewish obviously, if you don't have a good architect, it's not gonna fall down. Like Nebuch a couple of weeks ago. So a student of mine was like that was in Gaza told me that there were three soldiers that they were killed because a building just collapsed on them. And so he told me that first of all, all of the buildings are like half destroyed already. Like there aren't completely perfect buildings left in Gaza. But so sometimes the soldiers that they need to find a place to stay, and it looks good enough, but they don't really know. And he says and to be honest, probably from the very beginning it wasn't so great, because it's Arab architects and Arab jobs. It wasn't so strong to begin with. So anyway, so self mastered machshava tchila means before you start doing anything, before you start any project, you have to have a plan. Okay, it's a very bad idea to plan on winging it. Okay, whenever you do, you always have to have a clear plan. You have to always know what I'm going to do, and that's what it means. Self mastered machshava tchila. So in order to have a good finished product, in order to have a good maisa, so I need to have machshava. I need to be planning myself. Okay, so so this is a way of life to always try to be thinking what's the bottom line? How is this relevant? Okay, like when you're picking a major in college. Yeah, this is the. I think I'll major in British literature. I always was curious about art history. Yeah. So, okay, what are you going to do with that? I'll teach it to some other loser. So to think about what am I going to do after I work myself to death so then what's going to come out of this? What am I going to get? Is it really am I just doing it because it's interesting, or am I going to get something out of it? So this is a way of thinking, way of approaching life, that what am I going to, in general, to make a pros and cons of everything, that to live life in a tachlis oriented way. Okay, that's really it's a very basic way of life. The Ramban writes that every time the person learns Torah, so before you stand up, before you close the book, so ask yourself, okay, now what did I learn from this? There should be nothing that you ever learn that you can't take something away from this. Okay, and if there's nothing that you can take away from this, if this doesn't affect your life, then you should learn something else. Okay, Now, this is, we can broaden this. This doesn't mean that every single thing you learn is going to be halacha. Okay, for example, like sometimes like there's portions of the Gemara that don't apply nowadays because some things only apply if we have a Beit HaMikdash and things like that.
You're ready for it.
But right, exactly. You know, the Chavetz Chaim actually, he was a kohen, so he thought this as in a very personal level, that he was an expert on the halachot of the temple service, and he actually, when he was learning the halachot of the temple service, he was actually learning halacha ma'aseh. He was like, I'm ready to be the high priest, and like I'm gonna be the one that they ask all the questions to. So like I'm ready. Like we have to do this, you know.
Chavetz Chaim was a kohen?
Yeah. Yisrael Meir HaKohen Miradin. Yeah. There was even some story that he once met somebody and he said that are you a Kohen? He said no. He said, I'm a Kohen. Do you know why I'm a Kohen and you're not a Kohen? He said, it's just the way I am. He said, no, it's not just the way you are. He says, because many years ago, so Moshe Rabbeinu, so he said, whoever wants to be with Hashem, come with me. My grandfather, he went. And your grandfather, he didn't go. No, it's powerful. You know, like he was saying, like, that you have to know. You know, there's a similar story with Bill Gates that somebody said, you know the story?
He's definitely not a kohen.
Yeah. That somebody somebody was interviewing Bill Gates, and she asked him like, well, what's your secret? What's the secret to being so successful? So he said, so he took out his checkbook. He said, I want to write you a check. Tell me how much to write. Whatever you say, I'll write it. And like she got flustered. And she said, I don't know. He was on live TV. And she got, I don't know. It doesn't look good. I don't know. And so she said, "You sure? You know, you could have just become the richest journalist in the entire U.S." You know? So she said, "Oh my gosh, you're right. Okay, no, sorry, too late." And he was saying that the secret to succeeding in life is that when you have opportunities, so like just chaperein. Like, you know, that if you don't chaperein, then it's gonna affect generations later. Okay, that's the secret to success. So that's what. So the Chavetz Chaim was absolutely a kohen, and because he was a kohen, so
there's a yeshiva in the old city that like prepares.
And so right, a Torah kohanim, right? Is that connected?
Them, but they go through all the motions.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, so but in general, the Ramban is saying that whatever you learn, there should be some takeaway. You know, I like to say that the difference, like a difference between a good class and a not good class, is that a good class is a class that you come out wiser. Like it's not just that I know something that I didn't know before. It's that now I'm a wiser person. That now I'm going to go to life differently than I did before. And that's exactly what the Ramban means. That whenever you learn anything, you should ask yourself, how is this going to change my life? Is it just like, okay, now I know. Like I was always wondering how old Moshe Rabbeinu was when he got married. Like okay, that's sweet. It is sweet. I can't say it's not sweet. It's true. Before I didn't know how old he was, and now I do know how old he was. But so what? But so what? So that you're hoping that it's like he was like 60. So anyway, so that there's always there's things for that there's lots of stuff that like it's information, it's stuff that I didn't know before, but it's not enough to have machshava, it's not enough to have information. There needs to be machshava that and therefore I'm going to live my life differently, and that's what it means. That's what it means that to be living life in a maisa way of thinking. Okay, to have that everything that I want, all the information that I accumulate. I only want to accumulate information that's going to affect my life. Okay, and this is the first message. This is the first message of Maisa as a tchuna, that as a koach hanefesh. That Maisa as a part of my soul. That my soul yearns for practicality. Okay, that I'm not going to be just a cloudy, airy, tzvati person. So just kidding. So that I'm not the truth is that Virgo. We're going to get to this. Virgo is an earth sign. Virgo is about being lamaisa. Virgo is shalom. That Virgo is about being practical. Virgo is about not just being just in the air, not just being that, oh, that's so cool, and like to be like that. Okay, and now what? Now practically, now I'm going to live my life in a different way. Okay, and now the truth is that this call to action, this call of practicality. So it's very appropriate that this is happening in the month of Elul because what's unique about the month of Elul? What's unique about the month of Elul is that it's the end of the year, right? It's the end. So when we're living in the month of Elul, so we feel this concept of a deadline. Okay, now truth be told, that I forgot who said this. That deadline is a bad term, and a better term is due date. Right? Because deadline means that this is when at this point you're like you can't do it anymore because you're dead, right? and due date means that this is when you're going to have a baby, so that this is when your project is going to start to exist. Okay, so Elul is the first month that we have a due date. Okay, so now but there is a date, you know. We have a date. We have a date that this is when we're expecting, right? So now there's a very important thing that I think we spoke about this a different time, that the difference between lazy people and not lazy people is not necessarily. I mean, you have people that just like couch potatoes. The people that just like couch potatoes. That was in my time. Stoners. So that you have stoners, you have people that just sit around and smoke weed all day. I'm not out. No, not but the thing is that the lazy people are not just the people that don't do anything. There are lazy people amongst us. Okay. That there's so the thing is that it's a very delicate thing, that the difference between the lazy person and the not lazy person is not necessarily that the energetic people are the people who do things and the lazy people don't do things, because you can be a lazy person and function completely, and you can do everything, and like to the outsider, to the naked eye, it looks like the lazy person is actually not lazy at all. Okay, so how is that? So because the real difference between the lazy person and the not lazy person is that the lazy person, in Hebrew it's called a zariz. Okay, it's a midah of zrizut. Okay, it's a person who's an energetic person, a person who's motivated. So the person who's motivated, so he does things because he wants to do them, and the lazy person does them because he's forced to do them. Okay, meaning that in today's day and age, so most people put themselves or are put into situations that they are forced into doing a lot of things. Baruch Hashem, it's a wonderful thing that we're forced into doing things. Like you're forced, you like, first of all, on the simplest level, that we have expenses. So because we have expenses, we need to have income. So because we need to have income, we need to have a job. So because we need to have a job, we need to keep our jobs. Because we need to keep our jobs, we need to show up on time. We have to do our jobs. We have to be successful. So there's this whole world of stuff that we need to do because we're forced into doing it, and so we do it because we need to do it. Because even lazy people, when they're forced to do it, so they'll do it, right? So the person that two people that they need to be at work at 9 o'clock in the morning. So the lazy person is going to say, well, like, he's going to put this alarm for, let's say, 7 o'clock, and he's going to snooze it, and then snooze again. Then when it comes to 8:35, So then he says, oh my gosh, I need to, he runs out and gets dressed in 2.5 minutes and brushes his teeth and gets out and runs to the bus and like a maniac and just barely gets it. So he gets to work on time because he was forced to get to work on time. Whereas the person who is motivated, so he asks himself, well, when should I get up? When is the healthiest time to get up? And he gets up because he wants to get up. Okay, so that's just an important thing to know in general. That we shouldn't fool ourselves into thinking that we're motivated, energetic people just because we do a lot of things, because there's lazy people that are extremely productive. But the thing is that what's beautiful about having this due date is that it forces us. It forces even the people that are sleeping, that in a deep slumber. So now that we have a due date, so now we're forced to wake up. Okay, so this is just the cosmic alarm clock. Elul, having Tishrei, having this due date, is like, we'll see soon that it's very. I'm saying this actually very intentionally, that referring to Rosh Hashanah as a birth, that it's such a blessing to have something to force us into making an accounting. Okay, whether we like it or not, we're forced into making accounting because we have this due date, because we have something which is saying, like, whether you like it or not, this is part of your reality. Okay, so what does it mean? So how does this affect our life? How does this affect our life? That in practicality, so this idea of Elul, this idea of having Maisa. So the first thing is that we have to make sure that we are thinking practically. We have to make sure that we have to make sure that we're making an assessment of our lives. Okay, that we're thinking like we're trying to grow, that we're trying to becoming growth-oriented people, and this is a reminder, a not gentle reminder. This is an aggressive reminder that shape up. This, we need to make sure that we are living in the way that we would like to be living. Okay, this is there's an expression, kick in the pants. Okay, that sometimes you just need a kick in the pants. There's something that it's like you know what you need to do, and you don't, and you just need this, like, something to force you to do it, something to. For a lot of people, it's like a religious boyfriend or girlfriend. It's like that's just what they needed, you know. all of the shiurim, all of the conversations, like 1,000 hours of shiurim, didn't do it. But meeting a religious girl, that's it. Okay, he starts keeping Shabbos, you know. So the first thing of Elul is to live a goal-oriented, growth-oriented life. Now there's the second idea in this Maisa, which is really a subcategory of the first one, and that is that the truth is in doing. So besides being just in a doing mentality, a practical mentality, so the word la'asod actually has a deeper meaning. And in the Chumash, it says in next week's parsha, in Parshas Kiseitze, so there's this thing called the Yifas Ter. Okay, this non-Jewish girl that when we're conquering the land of Israel, so then that there's this whole thing that a soldier might fall in love with one of the natives. They weren't Arabs, don't worry. and so there's the whole thing of how to connect with this native non-Jewish girl that you fall in love with. And so part of the process is that it says she has to do her nails. So they just do her nails. So Rashi says, what does it mean to do her nails? So it means she needs to fix her nails. That the word la'asot, besides just doing in general, the word la'asot has a connotation of perfecting something. Meaning the finishing touches, meaning being tuned into the details. Okay, it's not just like we have this in Hilchos Shabbos that there's one malacha to build something, and there's a separate malacha to perfect something. It's called the tikkun mana. Tikkun mana means to make something the finishing blow, the last blow on the hammer of something, to make it a finished product. So that to be la'asot means to make it a finished product. Okay, so what does that mean? It means the part of Maisa, part of the connotation of Maisa is to be detail oriented. Okay, and this is something that when we're trying to grow, when we're trying to make an accounting, so it's not enough to say, yeah, I really need to just shape up. Okay, that if you just tell yourself, I just need to shape up, so it's not really worth so much. Really, the secret to actually improving is the more you think in detail. Okay, and this is true. This is true on many levels. This is true that like when you when in every like growth kind of module. So like you've ever heard of a vision board?
Mm-hmm.
Like to have a vision, you want to get somewhere. You want to get somewhere. So if you want to accomplish something, if you want to get somewhere, so the way to do it is to have a clear vision. And the more that you go into detail, the more that you envision where you want to get, the more that you envision the way that it's going to look. That the more that you can go into detail in your vision, the more likely it is to actually happen. Okay, so this is that part of the Maisa, part of the tchuna, part of the mentality of Elul is to be not just into thinking in terms of change, thinking in terms of practically changing, but in going into the details, in like thinking into the nitty gritty of how exactly do I want my day to look from on an hour to hour basis, like what exactly do I want to have my study plans? What exactly do I want to do? Like that, if you like this is true. Like I don't believe in manifestation, but they talk about this that like I do believe it in the psychological way that if I think it's like this is something like I think like Tony Robbins talks about this that if you raise your standards to a certain place. If you say that this is what I want to be, so then we're programmed to want to live up to that. So if you say like I want to get a little bit better, so then you'll get a little bit better. But if you make a specific goal, so then we're programmed to want to live up to that specific goal. Okay, and our brains it goes even deeper. Like if I say I want to have, like he likes to talk about money, that's why he takes so much money, because he claims that if you come to me for an hour, then I'll actually get you $1 billion. So like if you actually look at yourself as a person that is going to have $1 million by next year, so then your brain is going to be working like behind the scenes to get yourself to that place that you're going to have $1 million. Okay, so this is how the details, having a plan which is detailed, is actually part of the way that it's going to be carried out. It's going to make it actually ma'aseh. Okay. So this is the deep connection. This is the deep connection between the Maisa and the Machshava. Okay, and between the tchuna of the sense, so to speak, of being goal oriented, with the letter which is connected to Yud. That's actually not a contradiction at all. They actually work hand in hand. That the Yud is the Machshava and the Maisa is the kind of Machshava, the kind of thought process that I'm going to have is a thought process which is goal oriented and which is detail oriented. Okay, so this is very connected to our constellation, okay, which is Virgo, which is Betula. And so, any Virgos here? No? Okay, so what do we know? So the biggest thing about Virgos are that they're perfectionists. They're perfectionists, which is so much this point. Okay, they're very, that first of all, we said before, it's an earth sign, which means that they're practical. And not only are they practical, but they're perfectionists in their being practical. Okay, so that means that they're very put together. and they know how to get things done. They're very analytical. They're problem solvers, and they're very good at fashion. They're very good at just making things work. Okay, and so this is really this really works together. It fits very well with the connection to the Maaseh and the Machshava. They're also very hard on themselves. They're very hard on themselves. They're not so good at forgiving. They're not so good at chilling, and so they look like they look like they've got it all together, but really deep down they feel like failures. And so you need to be aware of these people, that they need constant affirmation, they need constant encouragement, etc. So they can sometimes jump to conclusions because they think so much, and they need to just calm down. Okay, so that's really that these character traits of the Virgos is actually very connected to the energies, the Kabbalistic energies of the month. So it works out very nicely. Now there is the tribe which is connected to the month of Elul is the tribe of Gad. Gad was the son of Zilpah, who was the Shevcha of Leah, and so we don't know so much about the tribe of Gad. They don't have any stories about them themselves. There's two things we know about God. One is the name, obviously. We have to analyze what is the meaning of the Sharash God, and also the other thing we know about God is that they were one of the 2.5 tribes that didn't want to go to the land of Israel. Right? It says that Reuven, Gad, and half of Manasseh, and so they were the ones that their inheritance is on the other side of the Jordan River. Okay, and that's why Moshe Rabbeinu was buried in the inheritance of the tribe of Gad. So the other thing that we know about tribe of Gad, that there's the one hero that we know that came from the tribe of Gad, according to that's done. Different. Is according to some opinions. So Elijah the prophet is from the tribe of Dan, and that's because it says that he was Tishbi. He was which is in the tribe of, we say Eliyahu Hagiladi. Eliyahu Tishbi, Eliyahu Hagiladi. Gilad is the inheritance of God. Okay, so that's why there's an opinion in the Midrash that Eliyahu Navi is a Gadian. Okay, it's a word, I promise. So what do we know about God? So first of all, the word God, the word God. So there is an interesting thing in Lashon HaKodesh that these letters Gimel Daled, so they have an interesting connotation of bringing together. Okay, what words do we know that have Gimel Daled in them? Gedud is an army term. It's a brigade. Aguda is a organization, okay, and there's another word, a gid, like as a sinew. This is something that connects between the different parts of the body, the different muscles. So all of these words, it's all about connecting, right? That also, right? A battalion is like a thing that a bunch of people working together, right? If they're not working together, they're not a battalion. And the aguda is people when we come together in order to, right? We come together for a common cause. Okay, now this is connected to another word with Gimel, and that's gadol. Gadol means an adult. Gadol means big, right? Even every big. What's it mean big? What's mean big? It means that you have a lot of little stuff which is together. Okay, that's why it's big, right? If all the little stuff would be, right? If you have a bunch of stuff that's not together, it's not big. It's just a bunch of little stuff. So being big requires things being together. But specifically when it comes to adulthood, being a gadol, being an adult, so it means the ability to put things together. Okay, it means the ability to see things in context. It means the ability to see the consequences of my actions. And that's what it means to be an adult. Okay, meaning that a child is myopic. A child only sees the here and now. They can't see the bigger picture. Okay, that's what it means to be an adult. It means that I understand that it's worth it to push off my instant gratification for a greater cause. Okay, that's what it means. That's what it means to be an adult. So that's what God. That's what like the nature of God is all about. So now, why is this relevant to the month of Elul? Because it's the end of the year, so we need to bring everything together. This is the time that everything, like we've been working on whatever, or we've been just wasting our time. This is the time that everything comes together, like whether we like it or not. So this is the time that we have to just try to bring everything to make some kind of coherent sense of our lives, and to make a story, to make a narrative, like where we're going, where we're coming from, and to bring all of this year to some kind of summary. Okay, that's what God is all about. Now the thing is like this. In Virgo, so the Virgo means virgin, right? Betula. Okay, why is the constellation called Virgo? It's not so clear to me. If you look on Google, you'll see that it's somewhat like a stick figure. It's somewhat like, you can see it's like a square with like lines coming out of the square at the bottom, and then lines coming out of the side, and like some kind of head. No,
this one.
It's a stick figure. No, that's something else.
That's what it is.
No, it's a square in the middle, and so it's somewhat of a square. It's somewhat of a stick figure. So why do they think that that's a girl, a betula? So it's not clear. It's sort of like lying down. Maybe like that's like being passive and being just, like there aren't so many human constellations. The only other one is Sagittarius, which is Keshet, which is the archer. What's the archer? It's like, so over there you see like a guy that's like with an arch, like, so that's not a girl. The girl is just lying down, helpless. Okay, that's sorry. So that's apparently what they thought. But in the Hebrew, betula, like being a virgin, has this very specific connotation, and that is purity. That is that a betula is someone that was never messed with, right? That's something. So what is that? What is, like, how does that fit in? How does that fit into the essence of Elul? So to understand that, we need to turn to Rabbi Nachman. Okay, Rabbi Nachman has a Torah Vav, in the Kutimara, that in Breslov they call this the Torah of Elul. Why is it called the Torah of Elul? Because after he gave the Torah, he explained that all of the Kabbalistic intentions that are connected to the month of Elul, he had hinted to them somewhere in this Torah. Okay, so this is called the Torah of Elul. Now, at the very beginning of the Torah Vav, so he says that according to Kabbalah, so the month of Elul is connected to a special name of God, and that is the name of Ekia. Okay, that's what Hashem says to Moshe, that Ehiyah Asher Ehiyah, I will be who I will be, and that name, it's a holy name, and that is connected to the month of Elul. Now, what's unique about the name Ehiyah? It's future tense. Okay, so he brings from the Zohar that the Zohar explains that what does it mean, Ekia? It means that Ana Zamin Lemihavi. What does that mean? Ana Zamin Lemihavi. I'm ready to exist. Okay, now what does that mean? Now what happens every Rosh Hashanah? So it says in the sources, it says the Midrashim, that every Rosh Hashanah we are being recreated. Rosh Hashanah is a day of creation. So just like that Adam and Chava were created on Rosh Hashanah, so too, every single year, Rosh Hashanah is a day of creation, meaning that every Rosh Hashanah, God is giving us a new life. He's recreating us. That's happening during the moments of Tekiyah Shofar. Okay, when you're listening to the shofar, so that's why the shofar comes from the breath. The breath, our breath, is awakening Hashem's breath, and that breath that Vayipach B'Yapav Nishmas Chaim, that Hashem breathed into Adam, the breath of life. So that's what we are stimulating every time that we blow a shofar, that Hashem is breathing into us the breath of life, and we're getting a new creation, we're getting a new year of existence. Okay, that's Tishrei. Okay, so that's what, if Tishrei is about existing, is about being created, so what is Elul about? So Rabbi Nachman tells that Elul is about being ready to be created. Okay, it's about pre-creation. Okay, that I'm not getting created yet. Right now, I'm preparing preparing to be created. I'm preparing to exist. Preparing to exist. Okay, it's a very, very deep thing. So there's a Gemara in Menachos. Gemara in Menachos Chavtes 29b, that it says like this. It says, why is this world created with the letter Hey? It says that Olam Hazeh is connected to the letter Hey. Why is it connected to the letter Hey? Because the letter Hey has a hole in the bottom. Because in this world, so it's very easy to fall. So that's why there's a trapdoor. There's a trapdoor on the bottom, meaning that like you think that you're just doing your thing, and then you fell, and you're 1,000 steps behind where you thought you were going to be. And so that's why there's a hole in the bottom. Then the Gemara continues, and why is there a hole? There's another hole in the hay that's in the top, right next to the roof. So on one side it's connected, on the other side there's a break. There's a hole. So why is there that hole? So the Gemara says, because after you fall down, you need another place to go back. That's why there's the other hole. So the Gemara asks, why do you need a separate hole? Why can't you just go back the same place you fell down? The Gemara answers, no, that's not going to work. Lo mistayim ilsa. If you try to go back the same way you fell, then it's not going to work. You're just going to fall back again. Okay, this is the problem called beating your head against the wall. Okay, that you just keep on going through the same circular, inefficient behavior and thinking that for some reason, this time will be different. Okay, that's called insanity. Yeah. So that's why you need to, if you want to actually make a change, don't do the same thing and expect to have different results. Try doing something else. But what's the Gemara say? That you have to go in a different place, meaning you have to become a different person. You have to become a different person. That's the secret of tshuva. Tshuva is that okay, now I'm going to be really, really strong, but I'm not going to do it. That if you're going to just think you're going to just be really, really strong and you're not going to do it, you're going to do it. You need to. There's a reason why you weren't strong enough last time. That you need to change. You need to become something else, someone else. And if you're not going to become someone else, so then you're the same person. You're going to fall again. Okay. So the secret of tshuva is to become a new person. Okay. So this is really what, like when I say that betula, when I say that the secret of Elul is Virgo, is that to believe that I can become a new person. Like I'm not this beaten up, used person that's just like trying again, because that actually doesn't work. So what's actually the secret of change? The secret of change is to actually become a new person. Okay, that's the to become a betula, to believe in the fact that I can actually become a new beginning. A new beginning means that I'm pure. A new beginning means that I have no past, that I have a clean slate, I have a clean record, and to believe in that, that's what it means. To this, I'm ready to exist. It means I'm ready to accept that I'm going to be a brand new existence. Okay, and that this is like it's not an easy thing. It's not an easy thing to really believe in this because like there's so much going against us. There's so much like I remember like I remember hearing this when I was in I was in Kol. I was like 23 years old maybe, and like this guy was 25, and I wanted to throw up. He said, like he was telling me like, yeah, I'm like I've been through this enough times. Like I don't like yeah, this year's gonna be different. This year's gonna be different. Well, whatever, you go. And I was like, shut up, you are disgusting, you are evil, you are the Yetzer Hara, you're some Christian mercenary. So that like this is like that is evil. That is the Yetzer Hara, that you are what you are. Just accept it. So like growing, that's for naive young people. That's like, you think this year is going to be different? Yes, I think this year is going to be different. Yes, like this. I will never give up. When I'm 119 years old, I'm still going to say that this year is going to be different. Okay, and this is a problem. It's a difficult thing. Like we've seen ourselves going through the same motions, and we have there's a lot of support to this evil argument that it is what it is, right? And there's a drasha. It says in Parshat Nitzavim, I think it says that Tamid Enei Hashem Elokei Chaba, that Eretz Yisrael is so beautiful that Hashem's eyes are always in the land of Israel. Merishit Hashana ad Acharit Shana, from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. But when the Torah talks about the beginning of the year and the end of the year, so it says an interesting nuance that Merishit Hashana, from the beginning of the year ad Acharit Shana, until the end of a year. So why is it differentiated? So somebody explains that at the beginning of every year, so you say, this is the year. This is the year. This is the beginning of the rest of my life. This is the beginning of my new chapter. And then at the end of the year, it was another year. It was just a shana. At the beginning of the year, you think it's hashana, and at the end of the year, you think it's just shana. You think it's just a year. Okay, so this is the problem. This is this counter argument that's telling us that, come on, who do you think you are? Why do you think this is going to be different? You've been through this so many times. Don't you figure it out that you're just not going to change? So it's not easy. It's not easy. And for this anaz zamin mihavi, this believing in this recreation, this believing in myself that I could become something new, is not something to be taken for granted. And that's why there's a beautiful hint to the month of Elul that we find that tomorrow morning we're starting to say LeDavid Hashem Arev Yishi. Okay, there's a custom in Klal Yisrael that with Psalm chapter 27, Tehillim chapter Parak Chav Zayin, that we say David Hashem Arev Yishi. Now, where does this come from? Where does this come from? So, at the first line, it says Hashem Arev Yishi. Hashem is my light and my salvation. So, Chazal say that He's my light at Rosh Hashanah. He's my salvation on Yom Kippur. Okay. So the thing is that that's Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur. Where is Elul coming? So the Baal Torah explains. The Baal Torah says, because at the very end of the parak, it says, David HaMelech says, Lulei Hamanti, L'rot B'tuv Hashem Be'eretz Chaim, that if not for the fact that I had Emunah, that I'm going to see Hashem, I'm going to make it, that Kavel Hashem, that hope for Hashem, Chazak Yamitz Libacha, and be very strong, Kavel Hashem. So he talks about this Lulei Hamanti, that if not for the fact that I had belief, that I believed in myself that I can do this, that I can make it. So the Baal Term says, Lulei is the same letters as Elul. Okay, so Elul is the same, Lulei Hamanti. Lulei Hamanti means Elul Hamanti, meaning that Elul is the month of believing in myself, believing that I can make it. L'rot b'tuv Hashem be'eretz hachayim. That Elul is the month that we are called upon to believe L'rot b'tuv Hashem, to see in the goodness of God, be'eretz hachayim, in the land of life. Okay, to be very alive, to be very connected, to believe that we're connected to this world of goodness, to this world of life, to this world of closeness, to believe that we can do that, to believe that we can refresh, to believe that we can renew, to believe that we can be this bitula, to be this something, this brand new existence. I was born today. I have nobody touched me, nobody messed with me, I have no filth, I'm completely clean. And so to believe in this idea of being recreated, so this is the Avodah of Elul. So this is the Maisa, the Tachlis, the talking, the thinking in a very practical terms. It's all about this. It's all about recreating, making a vision of a new and improved me that the world has never seen before, that I can do this. To believe that I can become a brand new existence, a brand new being. So this is what Elul is all about. And so B'ezrat Hashem, we should be able to believe that we can do this. Hashem is this, the shofar should remind us, you can do this, it's just doesn't matter what you've done for the past who knows how many years, that you can be different. People do it all the time. People you don't have to look far to see examples of people that messed up for 50 years and then they became new people. They started new habits. They started with new lives. That we can do this. We're not dumber than anybody else. We're not less talented than anybody else. That we can actually change, and the change that we can make is actually going to help us to become new people. So B'ezrat Hashem, this Elul should be it should be sweet. It should be a sweet month of just changing, of evolving, of really seeing the true us that's been suppressed for so many years, and it's going to feel nice. It's going to feel energetic. It's going to make us feel like finally, we are the true us. B'ezrat Hashem.
Amen.